Hello again. The photographs from the American border with Mexico put me very strongly in mind of those we've seen on the beaches of England and France this summer. In both cases, large numbers of people, predominantly of African heritage, form part of a relentless effort to breach national borders and move into territory occupied chiefly by those of European heritage. It is a geopolitical movement of enormous significance. It's an invasion in all but name. A generation or two back, invasions and seizures of a country tended to be rapid and bloody affairs. Take the German capture of Norway following the attack on that country in April 1940 as a good example. It was all over in a matter of weeks, and in addition to a large number of Germans in key positions, a puppet government was set up headed by Wittgen Quisling, whose name of course has since become synonymous with treachery. It was not necessary for the invaders to make up more than 10% of the population of Norway in order to secure their control over the country. They had willing collaborators among the native population to help them. We are seeing something of an analogous situation right now in the United States and Britain. The only difference is that the process is taking place in slow motion, and it has been enacted over several generations rather than a few brief weeks. There has been military action, but instead of being concentrated in intensity like a blitz, it has been sporadic and intermittent. The attack on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon, the bombings on the London Underground, massacres in France and so on. The landings on our shores have also taken place not in one vast armada like the D-Day invasion, but have been spread over decades. The end result of all this, though, have been every bit as effective as if Europe and America had both been attacked simultaneously on one day. The first wave arrived quietly, like sleeper cells of Soviet Spetsnaz forces, living and working in the countries, and gradually moving to a position where they had access to the levers of power. These opening gambits were conducted very slowly and tactfully and didn't alarm anybody. After the first generation or two of this infiltration, in both Britain and America, the next stage began. People like Priti Patel in Britain and Kamala Harris in America had been born in their host nations and worked their way to positions of great power. I do not say that all this has been part of some overarching conspiracy to destroy Western nations, but that hardly makes any difference. It is entirely possible, I think, that even those taking part in the process do not fully understand their own motivations and actions. Certainly there are fully witting collaborators in the process, those like Quisling who would be happy to see their countries destroyed. And then too there are the useful idiots who help matters along because they're caught up in some mad left-wing ideology which says that they should be ashamed of their culture, history, and even the very colour of their skins. This insidious movement is combined with the dismantling of European and American culture, which now includes, of course, throwing out centuries of literature and art on the grounds that it is contaminated by colonialism, slavery, and white supremacism. As I say, I'm not inclined to believe that there is some mastermind at the back of all this, any more than there was a coherent plan to bring about the decline of the Roman Empire. I think rather that it is one of those trends which happen from time to time to long-established empires or political entities. I have no doubt that some people are exploiting the situation. It would be surprising if that didn't happen. If the political will existed, then it would still be possible to reverse the course of events. But we are now seeing people in positions of great power in Britain and America who simply lack the desire to tackle what is happening. Some of these people in high office are from cultures with a tradition of simply moving opportunistically from country to country, and so even though born in Britain or America, they do not feel any strong attachment to those nations. I'm thinking particularly here of Gujarati Hindus, like the present Home Secretary, whose grandparents were born and raised in one continent, her parents in another, and she herself in a third. There's unlikely to be any firm dedication in such a person towards one particular nation state. It will be interesting to see over the next few decades if I'm right about this, because if so, then illegal immigration to both Britain and America will increase massively in coming years, and the native cultures of both nations will be all but obliterated within a generation.